Good evening. I'm Stacey Amos for News Channel 8, and these are the top stories that we have for you tonight. Another young man loses his life on St. Croix. We sum it all up in our final part of our Inside Juan Luis Hospital series, and the U.S. donates millions to the Dominican Republic. Those stories and more are up next for you on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, unfortunately, it's another homicide on St. Croix. It happened last night in the Upper Love area. News Channel 8's Wes Small files this report.
Thank you very much, Stacy. I am in Upper Love, where last night at around 8:45 or 9 o'clock, we have a what we believe is a 20-year-old man. I'm going to give you his name in a few seconds, who was gunned down here in a hail of bullets, and he is now dead. He becomes the 10th homicide victim on St. Croix. And also for our territory, we have 17 in the territory. It was around 8:15 in this area of Upper Love last night. Now, details are still sketchy, and I'm going to throw it to Melody Rames from the Virgin Island Police Department.
Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives are investigating the shooting death of a 19-year-old male that occurred in the vicinity of Estate Upper Love. On Tuesday, March 27th at about 8 p.m., officers were dispatched to assist an off-duty officer who was in the vicinity of Estate Upper Love and River Road when a discharging of shots occurred. The off-duty officer told police that he observed at least 2 individuals fleeing the area on foot. Officers later observed an unresponsive man lying on the side of the road with multiple gunshot wounds to his upper body. The victim was dressed in a black t-shirt, gray jeans, and black slippers. He was later identified as 19-year-old Kyron Finney. Detectives, forensic technicians, and other police officers processed the scene. Several shell casings and other evidence was collected at the scene and will undergo forensic and other testing. Detectives continue to investigate this case and urge anyone in the public to tell what they know so police can resolve these recent shootings. Please call detectives at 712-6077, 712-6037, or you can call Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS.
Kyron Finney. Now, this is unofficial. This is the spot where we believe where he met his demise. I talked to some people in the area. There's several stories. Certain people say at least 3 perpetrators, all on bikes in Estate Upper Love. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
It's our third and final part of our exclusive series, Inside Juan Luis Hospital. News Channel 8's Wes Small covers the racial overtones that were heard loud and clear during the nurse protests with CEO Jeff Nelson.
It broke my heart as a reporter to be on the lines to hear some racial overtones about you, Jeff, about being Caucasian. Whitey, go home. And it broke my heart about Filipinos going home. You know, that's not us as Virgin Islanders, because we are a melting pot of everybody. And I have to tell you, there is no place for that on the picket line or in this conference room. But setting aside those racial overtones, Jeff, I have to ask you about this. Are we still importing outside help for our RNs? Do you still intend to get people from other countries and to the States and all over the world to be RNs here at Juan Luis Hospital?
Last week alone, we hired 5 local RNs. 5 local RNs, and we're going to continue to hire local RNs as much as possible. Our LPNs and our CNAs are very valued. We don't take anything away from that, but as we go forward, whereas Ms. Stevens just talked about the strength of the RN, that's where we're headed to. We will tweak the system. But in doing so, in order to make sure that we have the right capacity, we will supplement our RNs with other RNs, which we've done over the years. However, our intention is only to do that on a temporary basis. We want to raise our RN rates, and we want to work through the unions to do so, and we want more RNs here. The reason why people will stay here, as well as the reason for people to be attracted here, is because quality of care, and we're raising that quality care as we speak.
How is the hospital doing now, especially emergency room? And you have to make a report in a few days. How are we doing in the ER?
Well, right now what we're doing in the ER is we are looking at our processes. We always link back to the quality of care that's being provided and the safety we're trying to hold on to. So what we're looking at is once the patient comes into the hospital, how are they processed through the emergency room? Who are they seeing? How quickly are they getting to the nurse? How quickly are they getting to the physician? So door to dock, as we call it, that is the most critical time, the moment that we're looking for. So that is actually my responsibility right now. Ever since we've had the layoff, that's the end of February, we have had a backup in the emergency room, and we have to be very open with that. So we may have some delays. What my responsibility is to touch bases with the patients, let them know we'll have a delay, ask them how they're feeling, go back and forth, have the nurses in the emergency room keep in contact with the patients out in the waiting area so that they know exactly what's going on. If there's a change in condition, we know right away. We take care of those patients as is.
All right. Now, Angie, how are you doing with the patient complaints and care? What's going on since the 85 nurses have been dismissed? Has your caseload increased? And be fair with me now.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that opportunity to share with the community what's going on here at the hospital. Yes, we do have complaints from patients from time to time, but for the most part, we have not seen a spike or an influx of patient complaints or concerns. What we do see is a community response, an emotional response, concern about whether or not, if they do arrive to the hospital, what type of care they will be receiving. But we need to assure, and we would like to assure the community that within our hospital, we have several structures that would ensure that our patients receive appropriate, timely, and safe care. In terms of volume of patients' concerns, we do have individuals that are assigned daily to go to all units to address those concerns immediately at the bedside. What usually comes across my desk or for review, which we do have an interdisciplinary team that is made up of risk management, patient advocacy. At times, we may involve other departments such as medical records, physician input to address those concerns. And on a weekly basis, we meet a minimum of 2 times. We review all incidents, whether it's a medication incident, whether it's a patient concern, whatever it is, we address it immediately, and their patients are notified in a timely manner.
I want to thank Ms. Simmons and Jeff Nelson and all her staff, because this took a lot of time, and the time they spent with me was the time they spent away from your loved ones that need medical care. At Juan Louis Hospital, I'm Wes Small with the special report on News Channel 8.
Please let us know what you thought about this exclusive series on Facebook. We'd love to know what you think. Now, high-profile attorney Michael Joseph has been chosen to go to Egypt and represent the Virgin Islands. News Channel 8's Wes Small files this report.
Thank you very much, Stacy. Another exclusive this evening on News Channel 8. One of the leading defense attorneys in the Eastern Caribbean, Michael Joseph. He's got some information. As you know, we always around the local court here and seeing what's going on. And look who I ran into, always in and out, checking documents and so forth. Michael, you've been in the news once again. I got to talk to you about that. But first, you've got some pretty exciting news involving a committee in Egypt and a possible trip that you're going to be going on. And it's one of many, of course, because you've been to the Holy Land. Of course, you've been to Mother Africa several times. Defense attorney Michael Joseph, tell us what's going on in your life, bro.
You really want to know?
Really want to know?
On Thursday, President Eisenhower's daughter, Mary Eisenhower, sent me an email. She would like me to join with her in Egypt in the Citizen Ambassadors program, which I've traveled previously to South Africa, Moscow. And it's usually we go when there's a transition in government. Okay. And she asked me to join her with the new democracy movement in Egypt. That's November 1st. It's usually a 3-week trip.
You think
Well,
that transition will go safely?
Yeah, we are guests of the state, so we're provided security, etc.
State Department and so forth.
Absolutely. Well, President Eisenhower, when he started the program back during the Cold War, it was under the State Department. It is now an independent corporation, however, under the auspices of the State Department. So we have semi-diplomatic status.
And if people want to go online and research it, what's the name of the committee again?
Citizen to Citizen Ambassador Program. People to people.
People to people.
People to people.
Ambassador Program. Michael, I got to ask you this. You've been suspended, attorney. You have been suspended from the VI Bar Association. And we had talked about this off camera that, you know, your caseload, just like Hannibal O'Brien, just like a lot of attorneys, Marshall Webster and so forth, especially defense attorneys, your calendar is always crammed. I know this case is ongoing and what have you.
No,
are you okay?
Yeah, man. First of all, it's a case about 10 years old. Some people came to me. I was the third attorney they contacted. They had no money really for a lawyer.
Yeah.
I took $150. Yeah. I took $150 from them, 50 of which was to file a complaint for them. They were out of time. I was able to move the case along, except there were 3 doctors that wanted to testify as to the back pain and so on. It was a car accident case. And doctors don't give you reports unless you pay for them.
All these documents cost money.
Absolutely.
Even documents from the court. The media has to pay for it and public has to pay for it.
Well, that's pennies compared to a doctor's report. They start about $600. And what happened here is my clients could not pay for it. The court, by the way, I have the highest respect for the Supreme Court. I truly... the Supreme Court is a gift here because at least we keep things local and the justices, they understand and they were right. I should have gone to the hearing when I was complained of, but honestly I thought they'd pick up the file and could see what the problem was. Simply no cost for the medical reports. Okay. So Judge Ross dismissed the case. It was the second time he warned, and I filed him to reopen, stating that it was against the government, and the government is known not to pay quickly in lawsuits. And I could not afford to have taken my own money and advance it, not only for reports, but to schedule the doctors to testify. They want their money in advance. So my client couldn't come up with it. The case was dismissed. I move on to another case. And the Supreme Court was right. I should have moved to withdraw.
At the local court
with
one of the best defense attorneys in our territory. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Ironically, President Dwight D. Eisenhower died 43 years ago today. It's your Caribbean Report when we come back. The U.S. gives generously to the Dominican Republic and St. Kitts, and a Bajan cricket player is accused of rape. Here's your Caribbean Report.
From the Dominican Republic, on Tuesday, the U.S. government donated $170 million to bolster the Dominican Republic's technical quarantine capability through Agriculture Ministry and the Inter-American Agriculture Cooperation Institute. The U.S. Agriculture Department's USDA donation through Food for Progress program will also benefit Haiti. U.S. Ambassador Raul Izaguirre said Washington is proud to contribute to materialize the project, which he affirms brings together so many key players to protect the well-being of plants and animals in the Dominican Republic and Haiti. From St. Kitts, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force received a vehicle from the U.S. to aid its members in their crime-fighting strategies, specifically in the area of illegal drugs. Director of the Narcotics Affairs section of the U.S. Embassy, Bridgetown Kurt Vanderwald, said it was a pleasure to be there and to donate the vehicle on behalf of the U.S. government. Quote, "It is our way of recognizing the great work Commissioner Waldman was doing by bringing modern policing techniques to the force, both in St. Kitts and Nevis. We intend to offer a lot more support in the coming years." Commissioner of Police Selvin C.G. Waldman accepted the keys on behalf of the Nevis Task Force and thanked Vanderwalt and the U.S. Embassy. And in sports from Barbados, former Barbados cricket captain Ryan Hines has been charged with rape and was granted bail in the sum of $7,500 with a surety after making his first court appearance yesterday in the District B Magistrates Court in Barbados. The 31-year-old is accused of committing the act sometime last month against a 28-year-old woman. Hines is expected to reappear in court on July 5th and must surrender his travel documents and report to the Whole Town Police Station once a week. And from Haiti, telecoms provider Digicel said it will entirely fund a $16 million project to run a 200-kilometer-long undersea fiber optic cable linking Haiti to the rest of the world via internet connectivity. The earthquake in January 2010 damaged or destroyed much of Haiti's communications infrastructure, including the country's only other subsea cable link, which to date has not yet been sufficiently reactivated and secured against risk of impact from future seismic events, according to Digicel. From Orange Estade St. Eustatius, congratulations for being featured as a top Caribbean town, so says an article in The Lonely Planet written by Robert Reed on CNN.com. Quote, "Tiny, off the radar, and rather unusual, the tiny island of St. Eustatius, or Statia, has been home to the Caribs, French, Dutch, and British residents. In 1776, it became the first foreign power to recognize the USA." And in entertainment news, fans of Colton T are being given a sneak peek into what could be deemed as the beginning of bigger and better things for their local reggae dancehall artist. This creative photo story project, which was put together by Colton T himself, was shot on Sunday at the Princess Margaret Hospital and includes Dominica's Carnival Queen Nadira Lando. And Mental Maintenance, the worldwide release from reggae dancehall artist Conscience, has sailed to the top of the Japan iTunes reggae album chart. The 17-track disc, which is distributed by BP Records, has already hit the top of Germany's iTunes chart and has also ranked inside the top 10 of charts in Switzerland, the Netherlands, and New Zealand. Mental Maintenance features collaborations with Sizzla, Bounty Killer, Taris Riley, and rising newcomer Dario.
And it's your weekly Crime Stoppers report.
This is Judy Buckley with your weekly Crime Stoppers report. Crime Stoppers need your help reducing vehicle thefts in our community. If you know something, say something, as law enforcement cannot control crime without your help. We read about it, we cry about it, we pay for it. Vehicle theft occurs daily in the Virgin Islands. Vehicles are not stolen just for their parts. They're being used in serious crimes such as drive-by shootings, robberies, burglaries, and even rapes. Who is stealing the vehicles? Where are they being hidden? Who are the buyers and who are the sellers? How does a Jeep Cherokee that is stolen on St. Croix find its way to Trinidad? You can do your part in reducing the likelihood of your vehicle being stolen. Park your car in a way that makes stealing it difficult. Park in visible, well-lit areas. Lock valuables in the trunk, and never leave your vehicle running while you go into a store or a gas station. Recent surveys have found that 79% of drivers always lock their vehicles, and 93% never leave spare keys in their vehicles. However, 1/3 of drivers admit to leaving their vehicle running, 47% don't park in well-lit areas, and 40% don't hide their valuables. And 1/4 of us have left a purse or a wallet visible in their car. Although most drivers know there are consequences of vehicle theft, such as paying the insurance deductible and the cost of replacing vehicles that are not covered by insurance, virtually none of us consider insurance premium increases, the cost of time spent dealing with the police, vehicle rental costs, and the cost of time off from work. Vehicle theft affects more than just the victim. Tell us what you know. Help make our community a safer place to live by submitting information on vehicle theft at the web address right there on your screen, crimestoppersusvi.org, or you can call 1-800-222-TIPS, which is 8477. Your tips are completely anonymous, and our stateside operators speak several languages. If your tip leads to the recovery of a stolen vehicle or recovery of stolen property, illegal drugs, or weapons, you will receive a cash reward to be paid according to your instructions. The maximum reward for the arrest of a vehicle theft suspect is $536 plus 10% of the value of any property recovered, up to $2,500. This has been your weekly Crime Stoppers report.
And as always, if you know something, please say something. It's soccer in your Sports 411 when we come back. Stephen Q. Francis is here with your Sports 411.
Thanks a lot, Stacy. Yesterday, the Interscholastic Athletic Association kicked off their soccer season as we had the Central High Caribs versus the Ed Complex Barracudas. Let's go to the tape. Well, it was a small showing at the Central High Field for the Caribs and Barracudas' first game of the season, as both teams were glad to put their 2011 season behind them. The Caribs got off to a hot start but cooled off fast last year, while the Barracudas went winless. Well, in the first half, it was a scoreless game as both teams missed out on opportunities to put the ball in the net. However, in the second half, Central High struck first as Michael James got the Caribs on the scoreboard, giving his team the 1-0 lead. Later, the Ed Complex responded as Oakland Benter Jr. scored the equalizer, making the score 1-all. However, folks, the game ended up in a draw, 1-all. After the game, I spoke to both coaches.
First game of the season, man, and you guys came away with a draw. Tell me how you feel about the game.
Well, we didn't have a practice match. Most of the guys have never worked together like this before. So when I looked at the match, I feel happy. I feel good that the way we have played. I'm satisfied with the way we have played. There are some errors, but that's natural at this time. We just need 1 or 2 more matches to get ourselves together, and then we're ready for the competition. I think so. Last season, we should have played much better. There's not much to remember about last season in terms of we started off well, but we ended up in a disappointing way. This season it's not going to happen. This season we look good. We look good for this match. There's no reason why we shouldn't be a force in the competition. The next game will be Thursday. This Thursday we'll be playing Good Hope right here.
Tell me how you feel about your team. How you play today.
I'm very, very excited about my team compared to last year. Last year we never won a game. So come in and draw the first game, it gave me a lot of confidence to continue, you know. So I really feel good.
Okay, so what's next? What's you get next game?
Well, our next game is going to be at Complex against the Accra, which is an Arab, all Arab team, on Thursday at 4 o'clock. And we got a few games, a lot of games. We're trying to finish the league before school closed, because last year we didn't have all of that time, so we start off early this year, and we give thanks for everything that's going on still, you know, anything to help the youths then, anything.
Well, folks, you can check out both teams. They'll be in action on Thursday. That's a look at your Sports 411 update. I'm Stephen Q. Francis, the News Channel 8. Back to you, Stacy.